tonight we come to one of the homes of the Hogs. We're at Barton Coliseum in the state capital of Little Rock, Arkansas. The Razorbacks are 7-1, unbeaten at home, and the Crimson Tide of Alabama, struggling, comes visiting here this evening. But also they are out personnel. Basically, they don't have as many people to deal with as Nolan does, and they don't want to get in foul trouble. A three-point line for Tim Scott.
Alabama really, Bob, is set up in a 3-2, what they call 3-2 drop zone. There's that pressure right away that we were talking about. That's something that they cannot afford to do. Now, Alabama's going to...
Nothing doing. The shot clock went back to 45, so they have plenty of time. A three-pointer is short, but a great follow there by Melvin Cheatham. He's a freshman that they're very excited about in Tuscaloosa.
Well, he runs the court.
Put some weight on after his freshman year. Here's Lang posting up. They double team him. Out to the right wing. Yes, sir. Ron Uri out of Memphis, averaging 12 a game. Doesn't sound very much. Arkansas has won a half dozen in a row. They get it inside. Bama does. Devon rejected by Lang. Here comes Uri on the transition from Scott. And a foul and a basket.
Well, it was a great steal again, Bob. Uri took it down, and he's not the player he was last year. That's what you call a rejection right there. Tim Scott gets the ball, throws it exactly where he's supposed to, towards his court. Uri goes in. Smith is
in the Southeastern Conference. And a steal for Tim Scott. Here's Freeman off to the races.
Wes Sanderson needs to call a timeout right here. He's going to let this game get too far away. It's 11-2. He needs a timeout.
At least, but unable to hit was Kemble Smith. Ball loose in the lane. Andrew Lang came up with it. And the Razorbacks, already with a 9-point lead, bring it down once more.
Alabama shooting the ball way too quickly. They need to use the clock.
Oh, what a follow by Lang. And Webb Sanderson is going crazy on the other side. He thought it should have been offensive goaltending.
It certainly looked like it to me. The ball was still in the cylinder, and he jammed it through, but they're counting it.
Here, they play 3 games here this year at Barton Coliseum. They don't leave Fayetteville once conference play starts in January. They also play over in Pine Bluff on the east part of the state of Arkansas. And Pete Maravich, so far, Alabama down by 11. What happened?
To take the outside.
A little short from outside. Kemble Smith missing. There's Ansley. Your basic air ball off the glass. Here's Uri leading the break. Nice touch off the glass. Ron Uri has 8 to lead all scores. 41 was Keith Askins. There's Ansley. Rejected by Lang. This should be easy for Scott. He was fouled, and it goes in. Kemble Smith with a rather unnecessary foul on Alvin Lee, who now has 4. He penetrated very quickly. Ron Uri. Lee is looking very assertive offensively. Alabama needs some of that, but they need some down deep. Here's Lang for Askin. Or for Marks, rather. Every time Arkansas gets an easy shot, the Crimson Tide commits a foul. This would be hard to defend because Richardson's offense gives a lot of versatility between the 1 and 2 guard positions and the number 3 position, small forward. Players shuttle back and forth. There's the good penetration by Tim Scott, averaging 8. That's how many he has so far. Out of Little Rock, a former Arkansas Player of the Year out of Ball High School. Second time Lang's done that, set up possible 3-point plays at the other end. Ansley dumps it for Alvin Lee. A 2-pointer for Lee. 34 a game in JUCO last year, 18 a game this year. He has 6.
Well, Lee's keeping them at least in the contest.
Good drive. Keith Wilson, who just checked in, a 6'3" junior from Fort Smith, Arkansas.
He teaches blocking out very much.
Ansley was called for the foul. Here's Wilson around everybody. Well, how about that? You put him in for defense, and he drives around and through everybody for 2 baskets.
He's the quickest player on the team also, so you saw some of that quickness on the offensive end.
Sean Baker is ready to come in for Arkansas. A 6'10" senior. From way outside, a 3-pointer for Alvin Lee, who has... This is a team that badly misses Derek McKee. Wilson down the paint, left side. Credit. Pretty good move by Mario. He's averaging 6. He has 4. Richardson getting great production from his players in off the bench.
That's the truth.
7:20. There's the clock and the score. Arkansas and 2 more. Lennon has 6. Shot clock back up to 45. Ansley, just simply nothing there. Waits with a good move away from Scott. He took him right off the floor. Gary Waits has 2.
They can get this down to 10 before the half is over. It's going to be a great factor for them coming back out. It's going to give them a lot of confidence.
Lynn Sanderson talking to Kemble Smith, who set the check back in. Ron Huey, though, reaching into double figures. He has 10.
Going to try to get the ball into Ansley.
There it is. Waiting for people to leave the floor. Off the glass. Got the foul and the basket. Michael Ansley. 40 points a game in high school there, Mr. Basketball in the Volunteer State. Nearly a steal. 40-26. Alabama getting a drive from Alvin Lee. He lobbed it over Lang. Sean Baker got the rebound. Whitby now 5 for 5 from the line this year. Arkansas by 16. Turnover. Baker. And the shot by Broad for 3. A terrible mistake by the Crimson Tide at the buzzer. And Arkansas leads by 19. You simply cannot afford to make a mistake like this before the buzzer.
Well, that was a bad pass. Very difficult to handle. And that's what happens. The momentum's with Arkansas again coming out in the second half. They're up by 19.
Halftime coming up from Little Rock, Arkansas. It's all Razorbacks at the break by 19 big ones.
Wim Sanderson probably didn't talk with a quiet voice during halftime.
Cheatham with penetration, dishing that out. Alvin Lee has 14, and that's what the Tide needed. A quick three-pointer to get back the 3 they gave away before the buzzer.
Well, you know, the first half is over. It's a new ball game. Wim Sanderson told him, look, let's go out and play our best basketball for the next 20 minutes, and I think you're going to see a more aggressive team.
Kemble Smith fell down. That gave Tim Scott an easy route to the back door. He has 10. As he can here, especially against a quality opponent in their house on the road. Oh, Andrew Lang following a Stephen Moore miss. Lang brought down the chandelier, and he has 7. 20 points, the Arkansas lead, 2 minutes in.
I'm glad that's a breakaway basket because it had been the entire confidence. They're very composed, they're poised. Alabama's trying to put a little pressure on themselves now.
In the backcourt. And a technical against Sanderson. Ryan Lancaster just got his 4th. And the coach, as we thought he might, got a quick tee.
Well, he wanted that. That's really, he should have got a basic ball to come up the side so they can trap it and then keep that pressure in the 2-3 zone. They fall back into that, Bob.
Waits for Lee. Scott gambled and missed a steal. Cheatham penetrating. Ball stripped away. Reaching was Lang. Bumped down the floor. Scott got it from Freeman.
Beautiful play by Ali Freeman. That's what you call a veteran play. He dove on the ground and he just... Another steal.
Waits lost his balance, and Scott has it. This one is about to become a blow-away.
Well, they can get a lot of points very, very quickly with their defensive pressure. But I'll tell you something, Ali Freeman made a tremendous move.
Turnaround for Andrew Lang. He has 9. Arkansas by 21, and we're only 4.5 minutes into the second half. Traveling in the backcourt against Gary Waits.
You see what happened on Gary Waits right there? That had a lot to do with his knee.
Timeout on the floor. 15:22 remaining in the game. It's all Arkansas. Look at the penetration by Huey. Had to be a set play. Wilson fed him beautifully.
It was a set play, but it was
10:35 left. Hunt. He's a shooting guard. He had a three-pointer at the end of the first half and add 2 more there. Here's Dudley. bunch there. Inside, Ansley up quickly, rejected by Mario Credit. Whether it's Lang or Credit doesn't seem to make much difference for the Arkansas defense.
He didn't need to dribble. What he needed to do was get the ball up quickly. He waited on the shot.
Lapsing on Credit, but 4 or 5 on 1 couldn't come up with the ball. Here's Shuri. All the way across. Switching it for Brunt, inside for Marks. Pretty good ball movement by the Razorbacks.
Well, again, they're not rushing. Well, you see Alabama, they're packed into the paint. They're just saying, hey, go ahead and shoot from the outside because we're going to keep it. That's what they did.
Yep, Keith Wilson has 6. Ansley over the timeline. Here comes Brian Lancaster. Rejected by Andrew Lang. That's at least 3 tonight. Lee short.
You've got to have the knowledge of knowing what.
In Fayetteville and Little Rock, things are starting to come together.
Well, they've turned the corner. There's no doubt about that. Like I said, his personality is stamped on his team. There's another steal by Wilson. He's the quickest player on the team.
Wilson actually had the out on top. Brunt for Whitby, well short. But there's Wilson. That's how quickness gets offensive rebounds.
It's amazing when you bring a guy like that, but just forgot to put the ball one time down.
Then he blocks Mr. Lee at the other end.
Well, he's a heck of a shot blocker, and the reason is he stations himself right under the basket.
Yeah, he seems like a magnet. People come to him and beg to be blocked.
No traveling that time. Whoa, he took one big step, 2 big hands, threw it through.
Foul in the backcourt on Keith Wilson, but they're still on their feet because of Andrews' slam. 75-46 with 2:40 remaining. The Razorbacks coasting to their 8th win of the year, all at home. They've only been on the road once. There's from the left side, Keith Wilson with 13.
Just to go. Coaches have a long memory, Bob, and Coach Sanderson, Wimp Sanderson is definitely going to remember.
Wilson down deep, Baker. Sean has 3 on the night. 79-46.
Too much pressure and too many points. That's
what a shot there by Lancaster. They give him 3 on it. He has 7 on the night. 3 points. 1 second left, and see you later. 80-55, Arkansas wins it. We'll have a quick word for you as we wrap this one up from Little Rock in just a moment. The Razorbacks, with a record now of 8-1, are the winners.